Los Angeles in the 1940s sold a very specific illusion. Behind the glow of celluloid dreams, realities occasionally shattered its glamorous branding. On the surface, the post-war boom was in full swing. Traffic hummed past pristine broadcasting studios, and the daily routine proceeded without interruption. That routine snapped on a January morning in 1947. The discovery of Elizabeth Short's body in a vacant lot sent a wave of panic through the surrounding neighborhoods, creating a sudden vacuum of information that the city was desperate to fill. The LAPD mobilized to hunt the killer, but detectives immediately encountered a competing force on the streets: a highly aggressive, unchecked press corps. Homicide investigations require absolute silence. To corner a suspect, detectives rely on uncontaminated crime scenes, tightly sealed evidence, and restricted information. The city's newspapers obliterated that silence. In their race to sell editions, they turned a solemn crime scene into a public circus, ensuring the facts would be buried beneath an avalanche of daily headlines. Within hours of the body's discovery, journalists swarmed the narrative. They bypassed police lines and actively wrestled control of the story away from the detectives. To move evening editions off the stands, editors applied a specific strategy to the tragedy. They stripped away the reality of the victim and applied the stylized language of film noir. They branded Elizabeth Short with a name designed to linger in the public consciousness. They called her the Black Dahlia. That single phrase shifted the city's perception. Elizabeth Short ceased to be a murdered 22-year-old woman and became a pulp detective character in the minds of readers. By treating the case like a Hollywood script, the press shifted the event from a methodical police inquiry into a piece of serialized public entertainment. This entertainment value had severe physical consequences on the ground. Reporters routinely intercepted police radio calls, arriving at fresh leads before detectives and trampling through critical forensic markers. Journalists frequently intercepted the victim's personal effects and witness accounts before detectives could log them. These details were held in newsrooms for hours to ensure that the morning edition broke the news before the police could act. When they published those exclusives, they broadcasted the LAPD's exact strategies. The killer could read the morning paper and know exactly where the police were searching. Raw, sensitive case materials circulated through offices like casual trading cards, entirely stripping the crime of its gravity. This chart visualizes investigative degradation. As the red line of media interference spikes, the blue line representing the probability of making a verifiable arrest plummets towards zero. This volume of noise overwhelmed the LAPD, forcing detectives to chase newspaper rumors instead of solid leads. By the time the investigation reached its peak, the sheer density of the press corps had become the primary obstacle to making an arrest. The sensationalized reporting triggered a chaotic fallout. Civilians, desperate to insert themselves into a headline, began walking into precincts and falsely confessing to the murder. Detectives burned thousands of hours interrogating these imposters. They methodically cross-referenced facts just to debunk the fictions the newspapers had printed the day before. Despite compiling a massive list of suspects and facing intense public pressure, the police could not filter the signal from the noise. The investigation froze completely cold. The public reaction to Elizabeth Short's death established the template for how we consume stories of violence. It turned the tragedy of a murder into a serialized commodity that the public followed like a daily radio drama. We possess decades of Hollywood theories, elaborate suspect profiles, and fictionalized adaptations. What we lack are uncontaminated facts. The perpetrator committed a brutal crime in a major metropolis, then used the deafening roar of the media's own machinery as a smokescreen to vanish without a trace. The exact media frenzy that embedded Elizabeth Short into popular culture guaranteed her case would never be closed. The press sold the mystery, and in doing so, allowed a killer to walk away like a ghost.